Welcome to the Face to Face. I'm your host, Genevieve Kyle-Lefebvre. Face to Face is a bilingual series of video recorded in Coquitlam. We acknowledge that Coquitlam is located on the ancestral and unceded territory of the Coquitlam. We thank the Coquitlam people who continue to live on these lands and care for them along the waters and all that is above and below. Today, I am sitting with Justina Di Stasio. Justina is a Canadian wrestler that competed in the 2024 Paris Olympic in the 76 kilogram wrestling category. Welcome.
Thank you.
It's a pleasure to connect with you. Your parkour is very fascinating, and I'm really excited to have all our listeners and people that are watching discover a little bit what you do. So wrestling, why did you choose this discipline?
I played every sport I could when I was a little girl, and I got really lucky. I found it when I was in grade 6. So I did it for fun from grade 6 until the end of high school. And then I wanted to keep playing sports at university, so I picked wrestling, and I kept going until now.
Until now, still doing it.
Yep.
Excellent.
Yep.
You are from the Tri-Cities, right? So
Yeah.
tell us a little bit where you born and what have you done all the way until you went to the 2024 Olympic.
Ooh, okay.
Big question.
Yeah, my whole life.
Yes.
So I grew up in Coquitlam. Our first little house was in Port Moody. Then we moved like across the street, you know, that line, Coquitlam, Port Moody. So I grew up next to Miller Park. And I went to elementary school there, and then I went to middle school at Banting, and then I went to high school at Port Moody Senior Secondary School, so very local. I'm the oldest of 3 kids, so we're all 3 years apart, like me and my sister 3, and my sister and my brother 3, so it was nice to grow up wrestling around with them a little bit.
You have a younger brother?
I have a younger brother, yes, I do. And then, yeah, our parents put us in every sport we could ever want to try. They really pushed like academics as well, which I was lucky to have that support because wrestling, you can't really compete internationally or at such a high level unless you do it through the university system here. So lucky for me, Simon Fraser University was super close by, like 10 minutes from my parents' house. So I went there straight out of high school and I walked onto the wrestling team and I studied English, and for 4 years, I was starting on that team. And then as I started getting better and going to more international competition, I was able to keep training out of Simon Fraser University. And I went back for my teaching degree. So now I am a teacher and a wrestler and still pretty local.
Awesome. Amazing. You also do a lot of work with youth now. So can you tell us, I know you participated into the Rise and Inspire Summit that was, I would say it was in September this year.
Yeah.
It was in Coquitlam.
Yeah. So it was at Douglas College Coquitlam with the Gamma Foundation. It was really nice. Like we connected through the Olympics. They wished me good luck, and then when I got back, got in touch and asked me if I could come be the keynote speaker, which that was the first time I've ever done that. I felt a little bit of pressure because there was a panel of like really successful like entrepreneurs within Coquitlam sharing all their wisdom with the kids, and then it was my turn. And I mean, I have sport to share. For me, that's normal, but he was able to like lead like a fireside chat, so it pulled out good information and just like determination, discipline, all those skills that help you, I don't know, get to the Olympics. I was able to share that with the kids, so it was really good.
So that was in collaboration with Adele Gamara Foundation, am I right?
Yes.
Excellent. So it was a great time to work with him.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's always very lovely.
Yes.
So what is your main message? So when you talk to children locally here in the Tri-Cities, what are you trying to achieve when you talk to them?
Like I always explain like who I am and how I grew up. I'm Indigenous, I'm Italian, I grew up here, very family oriented, like being kind is like the core of most of my values. But then obviously wrestling's a bit more, I don't know, aggressive. It takes a lot of discipline, a lot of focus, a lot of determination. And then at the end, when I get to say I'm an Olympian, people think it must have always been success after success. And actually that's not the main part of my story. My story is how long good things can take, and the ability to refocus after setbacks and build yourself back up and work through injuries or losses or disappointments, because I think that's more applicable to everyone as a whole. Like I was an Olympian one time, but I was training for like 20 years, and to do that, to sustain that for so long, you do need to be able to focus through the hard times. And so I try and tell kids, like, if at first it's not like super successful, or it's not easy, or it's taking you a long time to be as good as the other people, don't worry, keep trying, keep doing your best, and eventually you'll get there.
I think you're talking about having some grit, right? I think we talk about this right now. It's not everybody comes with a silver spoon, and I think like the today's youth really have to understand what's that mean. And nothing comes just like that.
And that's okay. It's okay to not succeed the first time you try something. Like, the process of learning is actually very fun, I think.
So what are the challenges that you encountered through your career?
With wrestling, I mean, the physical side of it, like a lot of injuries, just, I'm 32 now. That's a bit older for an athlete. So not being
Which is so sad, right?
I know.
32.
I know. But like the physical side of it, that's been quite a challenge. I really had to work through some mental health things just during COVID. Obviously, wrestling is so two people together in your face. It went against all the COVID rules that we had in BC. So I took that time to go back to school and become a teacher, but also not having, like, wrestling feels like home to me, and not having that, I found myself like anxious, like wondering what I was going to do. So just working through the mental health to be like, you're more than just an athlete. That part was a pretty big challenge, but figured it out.
Do you have any mentor that's been guiding you through this process?
Like my entire wrestling career process, I've been really like blessed with the coaches I've had. One of my coaches, he's still a teacher at Port Moody Secondary School.
What's his name?
His name's Selwyn Tam. I always say his name because everyone should know who he is. He like found me in wrestling, introduced it to my parents as like a good space for me to find success. He would sign me up for Team BC as a kid and take me to camps all over the province with our team. And then when I was like, I don't know if I want to wrestle or play soccer or just be done sports, he talked to the coaches at SFU and helped me get on the SFU wrestling team. And then no matter what tournament I've gone to, like even before the Olympics this summer, I asked him to come up to practice and like just go over things with me, and honestly just tell me he thought I was ready. Like he's just always been in my ear and always been such a positive influence. So he's really guided my wrestling career.
Yeah. Do you talk about him when you talk to today's youth?
I often say, like, I have this little coach, his name's Selwyn Tam, you should know his name, just because he's so important to me. Like, my parents, they're, how's he doing? How's this? Have you talked to him lately?
Part of the family.
Yeah, truly.
Yeah, that's excellent. What was the injuries that you encountered? I mean, when we think about wrestling, of course, the first thing I'm thinking it's about the punching in the face and all that stuff. And I mean, we see things visibly; it's not hard to see. But now, like, what happened after a match? Are you always kind of banged around a little bit?
Really
and
lucky.
Is it difficult?
Like, I've never had a concussion, and that's usually a very big thing in combative sports. My injuries have been more my ankles. I've had 3 ankle surgeries. I just have weak ankles. They will roll no matter how much physio I'm doing. And I've had some neck issues. So complete opposite sides of the body, but I really have to make sure my neck is like very, very strong, and that my ankles, I need the mobility, otherwise they just jam and I get bone chips constantly. Those have been really annoying, but with the right supports and like I have a physiotherapist, his name's Vic, he's like helped me a ton. Yeah.
So you are often talking about your experience through wrestling with the youth, right? So you like we said a little bit, like it's not easy. That's something that comes, like you have to practice, you have to do this, you have to do that. It comes with every stage of life, all the steps, right? So what is the teenagers are when they want to talk to you about? Like what did they come back from your message and ask you? What are the question they ask you?
Well, first you always get asked by like, so I do lots of talking with like in the schools I'm in now. And you always get asked, could you beat me in an arm wrestle? Like, I don't know, we're not going to do that here. But the little boys always love to ask if we can wrestle. And then after that, they ask a lot of questions about did you win a medal at the Olympics? And I go, no. Oh, well then how did you feel about the Olympics? And again, it like ties into my story of like, yeah, I didn't win a medal, but I really enjoyed the process of getting there. And I think that when things are hard, you have to find, I don't know, a good part or a happy part of that little step to get a little bit better every day. And so we talk about like little goals, little achievable goals, instead of like big, huge things that can intimidate us. And we break it down into like, I improved a little bit at this today, I improved a little bit at this tomorrow. And I think that helps with like kids and I would hope that helps with kids in their learning as they're like, let's say it's like the 5th grade and they're learning, I don't know, some type of new math thing, word problems. Maybe it's confusing at first, and suddenly they're like, oh, this does mean multiplication, this does mean division. And it's like day by day, you learn a little bit more. So I hope like when I say my story of like piece by piece, I found success, it like resonates with them.
Mm-hmm. Do you see yourself through them sometimes?
Sometimes, like I get to work with a lot of kids who have big feelings, and sometimes they get upset when things don't work out. And like, as I'm sitting here saying I enjoyed the process, it doesn't mean I didn't get upset when things didn't work out. So trying to work with those little people and their big feelings and calm breathing and it's okay, we're gonna get it next time. Like maybe I'm saying that to them because I've said that to myself my whole career.
Yeah, yeah. How did your background, your heritage help you through this process?
Yeah, so I'm Italian and Indigenous. I'm a member of Norway House Cree Nation. I always grew up thinking that it was just normal to be me. And then as I grew up more and more, I found out that the more success I found as an athlete, the more I would be looked at as a Indigenous role model. And I've just always tried to carry myself with like a sense of pride, and that no matter how someone viewed me, it would be a good example. And then as I got further and further, like my band, Norway House Cree Nation, was able to support me so much, like constantly checking in to make sure I was okay, helping me get to trips. And then just this entire summer, they made me feel really loved and supported, that no matter what the result, it didn't matter. The fact that I made it there is what mattered. And that was really comforting once the results did come in. I didn't become an Olympic champ, but to them, I was an Olympian and it was everything. So
you
it
came
helped
12th,
me a lot.
right?
I came in 12th. Yes.
And,
yes.
I mean, 12 in the world.
Yes. It sounds cool when you say it like that,
cool.
but I hope I think of it like that someday. It was only a few months ago. I'll get there.
Well, I think it was fantastic.
Thanks.
So now, all this, is that shaped you any different? Like now, then you see life differently, and then you've been to the Olympic, you talked and competed against some of the best people in the world, and has that changed you?
Yes and no. Like you do have to really accept that nothing's given to you, nothing's guaranteed. You can work as hard as you possibly can, and at no point does that mean you're going to be the champion at the end of the day. So that's humbling in a sense, but also really powerful, because I know that I have the ability to push myself to my breaking point and come out the other side regardless of the results. So I think that's a really important skill that sports taught me, that like you can put your all into something and no matter what happens, you're going to be okay. You have a support system, well-rounded, like people will love you no matter what happens. And I think that has been a big comfort coming out the other end of the Olympics.
When you came back, is everybody was waiting for you to celebrate?
Well, me and my fiance went on a little trip for like a week. We traveled around Italy, and then when I came home, it was just like a nice like like we did it. It's done, and it happened, and it was great, and now we get a break. So it's been really nice.
That's great. What's happening now with children or people around you that are wrestling? Are you involved with that? Are you helping? Let's say the smaller one, like
the littles.
The children, the littles, to maybe go towards wrestling.
So I had previously coached actually the Simon Fraser University women's team. I've coached within BC wrestling, so from grassroots, the little kids, all the way up to the competitive level. Honestly, I came back from the Olympics thinking I was going to dive right into coaching, and I needed a break. Like, I needed a little bit of space from it, and I decided I'm going to keep wrestling myself. So my coaching is put on hold a little bit longer. So the way that I get to give back to the little kids now is like probably the Christmas camp through BC Wrestling. And then after next year, I think I want to try and wrestle one more year. Then I figure out where I'm going to fit in. Am I going to be in grassroots? Am I going to be in BC development? Am I going to be in the college system? So we'll see.
We'll see.
Yeah.
So you're not planning to go back to the Olympic?
That's 4 years.
Yes,
to be an
that's why
Olympian.
You just said 1 year, so
1 year. I'm breaking it down small.
Okay, so you never know.
You never know, but I'd say right now probably that just seems like so long. And I have other life goals. Like, I just started my career. I want to get married and have kids. So a few little things before the Olympics.
The Olympic, maybe. We'll see. We'll see. So as a teacher, as an Olympian, as someone that talks to youth, do you have a message for everybody out there that are listening to us today?
Like, surrounding the youth?
Yes.
How to talk? So my job's Indigenous resource teacher, and it's a brand new job for me. I just started in September in my first full-time role. And the biggest strength that I've been able to bring is making connections to kids. They will open up. They will let you help them. They will ask you questions. They will genuinely be excited if you're there, if you just let them know they are important. Like, believe in them and support them, and whether it's they're really good at something, okay, let's keep working towards getting better at it, or it's a skill that they're needing to improve on, academic, social, emotional, it doesn't matter what, but showing interest in where they're at and where they're going to get. And I just think little kids, they care so much, so when you care right back, that's when the connection happens, and that's when you can start working towards whatever the goal in the classroom or the school is. And luckily for me, I really like connecting. I really like talking. So I've used that strength and working with the kids, and it's month 3. We're actually getting some relationships, and we're starting to like work towards some cool things in the schools.
Excellent. Now I'm going to ask you for the parents. Give me a message.
For the parents?
Yes, because often parents out there can struggle also with their teenagers, their youth, and I feel connection sometimes can be difficult with the family, especially when you bumped into certain problems. I know personally in my family, one of my cousin's son was very struggling, mental depression, mental illness, and he found his path is the recovery through wrestling, actually.
Wow,
in Quebec.
Amazing.
So yeah, and that's definitely a tension outlet was needed. And now that's what he's doing.
That's his thing.
I know.
That's fantastic.
Actually, as I'm talking to you, I just remembered that. Yeah, we talked so many times before, but
that's amazing.
So I
love that.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not a parent yet, so I don't have that experience, but I do, like, I think my parents did a really good job with me and my siblings. They were always there. My dad had one big rule that you don't quit anything you start, you finish what you start. So that helped me, because I mean, I loved wrestling, but I didn't love everything I tried. But I just was able to build skills, and he would show a ton of support, whether I was the best one in whatever sport we were doing or really struggling, but he was always there. And I know, like, I had a really lucky situation. I had 2 parents. They both had good jobs, so they had the time to come and be present. But even when he would, because I have 2 siblings, if I have a basketball game, because I joined the basketball team, even if he wasn't there, he'd ask me about it. We'd like debrief stuff. So I'm coming at it from a sports thing, but my parents always showed an interest in my sports, and maybe that's why, I don't know, maybe that's why I loved it so much. It was like a big thing that we could always talk about, and it helped turn me into the person I am. And I always loved that my parents thought sports was as awesome as I thought it was.
So sport brought your family together.
Yeah, definitely.
I can see how this is definitely a plus in a family.
Yeah,
definitely.
It's been pretty fun.
Yes. Well, Justina, it was absolutely a pleasure to meet you today, and I'm going to keep an eye on you. And if you do anything else in the area in the Tri-Cities with youth, let us know. We want to hear about it, and you're so inspiring. It's amazing to see also what you're doing with work with the First Nations. And I think more and more now we're talking about it. It's out there, and I'm so happy that we are, actually.
Yes,
it's
me
great.
Too.
Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
From the Tri-Cities Community Television and myself, Genevieve Kyle-Lefebvre, thank you so much for watching.